All right, so we give praise, esteem, and honor to the Elohim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. We pick it up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures for life. And they was testified me, and you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not come from Elohim only? Do not think me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? So praise be to you who are in the name of Yahushua. Let's get this thing rolling and rocking in Psalm 60. We about to meet it. Shalom, man. We about to meet our end in Psalm 60. We about to meet our end in Psalm 60 because we almost to 10 parts. And you know, once we get to 10 parts, shalom, man, it's time for us to move along. You know what I'm saying? Why everybody sliding? You know, we had good conversation in the chat with a brother about, you know what I'm talking about? Stuff that we talk about all the time. And at the end of the day, we have to make sure that we men. As my good brother, Azrael just put up there like, boom. He say, shalom, king. And I was talking to Trav about this Sunday. And Yahuwah willing, I very well may do it this week. Because I was listening to a video the other day, and I think I mentioned to y'all when dude was talking about, and these modern women still want you to take care of them and pay all the bills, and they want you to make their life easier. And one thing I can say, I know with a lot of brews, they like to call each other kings, but most of them don't want to operate and think like no king. They don't want to move like no king. They don't want to do what kings do. They want to sit around and cry, complain, because they're failures and they have no accomplishments of anything of note in their life and expect to be honored greatly. You know what I'm saying? That's not how that works. You know what I'm saying? Because I mentioned that, and I think I did mention that to y'all about that, right? Like Yahushua said, my burden is light. So that means that this man came to make his woman's life easier. See, the problem with dudes is you wifing up women who don't deserve for their life to be made easier. She gives you pure, unadulterated hell, and then you complain about it. Or you are an unaccomplished failure of a man, and this woman's making your life a pure hell because she has been with you for 10 to 15 years of pure failure. You know what I'm saying? And you think that she's supposed to applaud you and strengthen you in your failure. You know what I'm saying? And that's just something as men that we have to stop letting a lot of these brews skate by with justifying being mediocre and being failures as men and blaming it on the white man, on curses, on the devil, who else you want to blame it on, when you really need to look in the mirror and blame yourself because you did not maximize the 24 hours that Yahuwah gave you to be able to produce something of note that you could be beneficial and useful to other people. You know what I'm saying? Because that's one of the conversations we were having. He upset about Kevin Samuels, high value man. Who cares about Kevin Samuels? But we've talked about the high value aspect in the word. And to be valuable is to be useful. And one thing that we all know, you can't have no money and not and be useful. Because the reason why I say that is because money is just a tool. It is something that you can use to help for the benefit of others. You know what I'm saying? It's not just, you can buy the stuff you want. You can go to places you desire, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, it's a tool to facilitate things, to get things done, to be a benefit to others. And you're broke. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? And of course, scripturally, that's a whole nother conversation because you would become a son of Belial, which means you are worthless. And if you're worthless, that means you're useless. So who wants to be considered to be a son of Belial? Because scripturally, that's what we would have called a valueless man. This man is a son of Belial. He's not worth anything. We can't get no use out of him. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, our men have become comfortable with being useless and then complaining about the women not respecting you when men are supposed to build. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to build something to benefit your brethren, your wives, your children, so on and so forth. That's what you're supposed to do. And we don't want to do it. Indeed. And see, we talk about that too, bro. Before I read this song, see, because we talked about that. That man walked up to that fig tree ain't had no fruit, he cursed it. That man was angry. Because it didn't produce anything. So what good are you to me? See, we're not saying you got to be rich, but you got to produce something of note. We ain't doing that. And then we complaining about it when the world looking at you and saying, I don't respect you. See, it came from, and I was explaining to him, women don't want an average man. They don't want it. And instead of us saying, you know what? Matter of fact, first and foremost, don't do nothing for no one. You know what I'm saying? Don't become great for no woman, because you're going to be a slave to a woman. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Do that for yourself. Do that for your goals, your vision, your plan. You do that for you. You know what I'm saying? Your first and foremost is to be great towards Yahuwah. Then the things that you decided that you want to do as a man, you do that for you. The women are a benefit or a byproduct of you doing whatever it is that you're doing for you. Never do nothing for no woman, because you're going to be misplaced, because you're going to be a slave to her. This means you're going to be a slave to your desires. Don't never do that. That's what dudes' problem is. They doing stuff for women. You want to get money because you thinking dudes trying to get money to get women. We trying to do something. If my brother over here and he say, man, I'm trying to do this over here, man, and I ain't got no money, I ain't no use to him. So I'm going to tell y'all something, man, then I'm going to move on, right? I think I told you this the other day. When the first time I knew, I said, man, we got to get out the dope game. I got to learn this real estate game. Booby wanted to say, when he say, yeah, I want to clean office building, stuff like that. Fat boy like breed dogs. And then as I'm starting to research all this stuff, I began to realize something. I'm like 21 years old at the time. All my friends sell dope. So that means none of them can be a benefit to any of this stuff that I desire to do, so I can stop selling dope. So that means in this particular arena, all my friends were useless. They couldn't help facilitate. We didn't have a network of people that we could tap into. You know what I'm talking about? And some of these men on here can tell you, I am a firm believer in that, of going to certain stuff and networking with these people so you can tap into it, so you can plug your homeboys into it. Everybody get money. We all tapped in with the same people to be able to benefit one another. This is simple community and simple group economics, whether these people look like you or not. These are simple things that can be done, and niggas don't want to do them. What I look like sitting around a bunch of niggas who ain't got nothing going on? What I look like sitting around a bunch of dudes that broke? What I look like sitting around a bunch of sinners? We ain't on the same wavelength in nothing. I'm not sitting around no bunch of sinners, man. The text tell me evil communications corrupt good manners. So if it's 8 sinners, I'm going to be the 9th. See, we ain't talking about you ministering to no gospel to them and then you slide. I'm not hanging with no sinners, man. I told you, my big homie told me, he said, what you hanging with them dudes for? They broke. You keep hanging with them, you're going to be broke right along with them. I'm not hanging with you. If you think like a child, I'm not hanging with you. I don't want to be around no childish, foolish, minded, thinking person. I don't want nothing to do with that. You can keep that over there. I don't want nothing to do with that, because we're not on the same type of time. You don't want nothing out of your life? That's cool. But you stay over there with that, because I don't want nothing to do with that. You know what I'm talking about? And as a man, you got to look. What I sit back looking at 41 years old, and I want to sit around dudes that's half my age talking about the stuff and caring about the stuff they care about. That's shameful to my soul. You know what I'm talking about? I'm 41 years old, man. You who are willing soon to be 42. I shouldn't be able to relate to nobody who's 21 years old and they thought process and what they got going on. And I certainly, sure as doo-doo stink, shouldn't be able to relate to no sinner on no shape, form, or fashion. I should not be able to relate to you. We don't live the same. We don't think the same. We don't move the same. And guess what? I'm not going to look at you in your face and tell you that I'm better than you, but I know in my soul I'm better than you, because this word done told me that greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. So if the word is in me, I'm better than you. I ain't got to tell you I'm better than you, because my life is going to show that I'm better than you. But I know that I'm better than you. I ain't got no business hanging with you. I ain't got no business going where you going. I ain't got no business doing what you doing. Hey, there ain't nothing personal, but we ain't going in the same position, man. I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Our biggest problem is we got too many men who think like women, who use women talking points. You know what I'm talking about? Who use women shaming language and all these other type of things. And it's detrimental to the growth of young men from one end of the earth to the other. And as we say we the sons of Elohim, we kings, we priests and all that there, then you need to start standing up like a man and telling these whole niggas, shut your mouth and sit down somewhere. Clearly you was raised by your mama, your daddy, your granddaddy, your uncles, your cousins ain't teaching nothing. Sit down and let a man tell you something, boy, so you can get your mind in order, boy. Because you ain't no man because you got no penis between your legs and it get hard and you can impregnate a woman. That don't make you no man, my G. That don't make you no man. That don't make you no man because you can pay some bills. Sissies pay bills, boy. You know what I'm talking about? Sissies pay bills, man. Is he a man because he pay bills? This nigga's a bocce boy. You know what I'm talking about? Got to cut that bare minimum stuff out, man. It's detrimental to the nation, man, all the way around the board. You know what I'm saying? Whether they in the word or whether they not. Psalm 60. You know what I'm talking about? Psalm 60 and 1. Never in my life did I want to be average, man. Never. Never ran across my mind. Let me do the bare minimum. I wanted some money, man. Nigga, I was broke. You understand me? Man, we want money because we know what it's like not to have none. So we want to make sure we don't have that problem. I don't even see how dudes who came up poor comfortable with staying poor. You know what I'm talking about? Come on, man. Well, if you know what it's like, boy, ain't no lights on, know what it's like to be hungry, man. That ain't no good feeling, man. And then you know what the worst part is? Dudes be wanting to bring women and make children to go along for the broke nigga ride. You know what I'm saying? How you want to take somebody on the broke roller coaster, man? Come on, man. That junk don't even make no sense. And you think that junk cool. And I'm telling this here because I done told all you young men this here, man. Now, number one, right? As a woman, and y'all been married for a long time, right? As a woman, that's why I put that video in that chat with Cooper Cup old lady, man. Because see, that was solid what she did. See, it's only a handful of women gonna do what she did. See, she took out a full-time job so he could focus on football. See, she did that because she believed in what he was doing. See, a lot of you women problems, see, I done had this conversation with y'all before. Y'all don't believe in what that man doing, but you want to stick around just in case it's successful so you can benefit off of it. You a maggot. You know what I'm saying? If you think like that, you a pure D maggot. If you a real woman, if you a wife, if you a soldier, if you really love that man, boy, you rocking with what he got going on, and you're going to be willing to make sacrifices to be able to assist him in what he doing because you believe it's going to come to pass. If that's a woman, a man supposed to take care of and give her whatever she wants. See, if I already got it, see, you ain't, you know what I'm saying? You're going to get what I give you. You know what I'm saying? If you wasn't there when I ain't had it, you're going to get what I give you. You know what I'm talking about? You're going to get what I give you. But if you was there with me when I ain't had nothing and you was willing to sacrifice and do this and do that so that I could be able to bring that vision to pass, you done earned your position, you can get whatever you want. Now, what that sound like? See, that sound like how a lot of people gonna want to walk up with this word. See, they gonna want to come up when them doors shut and they see the manifestation of the righteousness of Elohim and they gonna want to get in and see he gonna want them people who have been carrying their cross with him the whole time. You know what I'm talking about? Who made them sacrifices to ride with him the whole time. That's why he say, come over you sheep over here on my right hand into this kingdom prepared for you from my Abba and Shamahin. Because see, you've been rocking with me the whole time. See, y'all be wondering why dudes get money. They be leery or talking to women because they already know. Like, come on, man. That's just different if she been with you, boy. I ain't talking about she just been with you. I'm talking about, boy, she participated. She made sacrifices. She put into what you had going on because she believed in it. And not because you need her to believe in it, but you knowing that she willing to do that, that means, hey, you got to look out for that woman. That's insane not to. That's insane not to. It's utterly insane not to. You know what I'm talking about? You got to look out for her. She rolled. You know what I'm talking about? Why you think Yahuwah feel, man? He gonna ride for his wife. See, that what you see. We don't even see it that way because dudes done got so selfish. Dudes so worried about what a woman gonna take from him and this, that, there, and the third. You's a coward. You know what I'm talking about? But you worrying about what a woman gonna take. These niggas be worrying about what a woman gonna take for these boy catching the bus. You know what I'm talking about? You don't even got a vehicle. You ain't got no furniture. You ain't got no savings. You know what I'm talking about? You ain't got none of that. But you worrying about, but I done told you this before, man. And these brothers on here who married And especially those who've been married for a long time can testify to it. Boy, if you're dealing with that word, you're going to be able to know a just woman from a wicked one. And if you can't tell the difference, boy, you need to check yourself. Ain't that right, little muffin? That's right. You going to tell him. You going to tell him? You ain't going to tell him. Psalm 60:1. O Elohim, you cast us off, you scattered us, you have been displeased. Oh, turn yourself to us again. You have made the earth to tremble, you have broken it, healed the breaches thereof, for it shake. You showed your people hard things, you've made us to drink the wine of astonishment. You've given a banner to them that fear you, that it may be displayed because of the truth. Say, La, remember Yahoo shot that banner. That's another thing me and Trav were talking about, and y'all willing to work that in there too. These old cowards, simple, broke, buster niggas always talk about these women ought to submit to them as the house or the body submit to Mashiach, and they ain't even men nowhere close to Yahushua. It's disrespectful and blasphemous. You know what I'm saying? For these dudes to be running around here talking about these women ought to submit to them like the body submit to Mashiach, and you ain't nowhere near the man Mashiach was. Because we done had this conversation before. Every man don't deserve to be submitted to. Every man don't deserve to be submitted to. I know dudes don't like to hear it, but yeah, you have to show yourself as some. See, this is the thing. We done talked about this here, right? See, we can submit to Yahushua for one reason and one reason alone, because you seen with your own two eyes that he submitted to his father. So he had already showed you this was a man worthy to yield to, because he yielded to something. You know what I'm saying? Most of these dudes don't even yield to nothing. You only saying you yielding to Mashiach in word, not in deed, and definitely not in truth. Why that woman ought to yield to you, boy? You know what I'm talking about? See, that's false bravado to make up for your lack of achievement and accomplishments as a man, that you feel like you got to hang some word over this woman to get her to do what you wanted to do, when she should have did what you wanted to do based off the godly interaction that you having with her and the masculinity that resides within you. She wouldn't have no choice but to do it. She wouldn't have no choice but to do it. If she say you a godly, she say she a godly woman and you a godly man, ain't no way in the world she not gonna submit to you. Boy, you ain't got to do all that. If you got to try to cajole and move a woman to yield to your authority and power, you not the man you say you are. You got the wrong woman. And with a lot of these brothers, it's the former, not the latter. You know what I'm talking about? But it ain't that much of a difference now. It's probably about 65-35, maybe 60-40, that you're not the man that you think you are, and that woman ain't the woman that she say she is, or that you wanted her to be. Indeed, you have made the earth, I think I read that already, that your beloved may be delivered, saved with your right hand. Hear me, Elohim have spoken in his Kadash. I will rejoice. I will divide Sechim, meet out the valley of Sukkot. Gilead is mine. Manasseh is mine. Ephraim also the strength of my head, and Yehuda is my lawgiver. Moab is my washpot. Over Edom will I cast out my shoe. Philistia, triumph you because of me. Who will bring me into the strong city? Who will lead me into Edom? Will not you, O Elohim, which had cast us off? O Elohim, did not go out with our armies. Give us help from trouble, for vain is the help of man. Through Elohim we shall do valiantly, for he it is that tread down our enemies. Let's come over here to Amos, because I don't think we grabbed Moab's conversation from the book of Amos. I don't think we got around there to it. And if we did, very well then. I think it's Amos chapter 2. It is. Amos 2:1. I know we was in a little bit of Isaiah 16 before we departed on Shabbat. For thus saith Yahuwah, for three transgressions, Amos chapter 2, verse 1. For thus saith Yahuwah, for three transgressions of Moab, and for four I will not turn away, because he burned the bones of the king of Edom into lime. But I will send a fire upon Moab, it shall devour the palaces of Keroth. Moab shall die with the tumult, with shouting, and with the sound of the trumpet. And will cut off the judge from the midst thereof, and will slay all the princes thereof with him, saith Yahuwah. Now, what does this mean? This is something we didn't already discuss in a different fashion. With the sound of a trumpet and with shouting. So, of course, you have the shofar, the horn, the ram's horn, the curved horn, the cornet. What does that lead us to? Isaiah. What is it when I want in Isaiah? Is that Isaiah 26? Let me see if it's Isaiah 26 that I desire. That is not. It is Isaiah 27. My apologies. It is Isaiah 27 that I desire. I pick it up at verse 9. There's a lot of stuff, man. You know, every man got greatness within him somewhere deep down. The question comes down to this here. Have you allowed yourself to suppress it? Did you allow what your mother and father did or didn't do to suppress it? Have you even allowed society to suppress it? Have you allowed the world to do it? Have you allowed Satan to do it? Because see, I ain't talking about greatness just on a worldly scale. I'm talking about the greatness of Elohim. Because Yahushua said greater things than these than you will do. See, the reason why you don't do them is because you don't believe. You don't trust in the source. So that's why a lot of brothers won't even go. See, we ain't talking about that stuff. I'm going out there on faith and, no, man, you don't believe in Yahuwah at all. I told y'all the other week, man. You need a whole lot of Yahuwah and a little bit of hustle just on life stuff. You know what I'm saying? A lot of dudes don't have money because they're incompetent. They make bad financial decisions. You know what I'm saying? They're real hasty in the things that they do. Because one thing for certain and two things for sure. You got a lot of dudes who talk about it. Man, this man ain't never said you supposed to walk around here broken destitute. So I was just talking about that with my wife the other day, man. Like, y'all already know that, man. These brews feel like you supposed to walk around here and look like you a hobo. You know what I'm saying? Like some of these dudes look dingy. And then they try to shame you because Yahuwah has allowed you to increase and enlarge your borders, so to speak. And that you care about your appearance. So they want to shame you. You can't get caught up in that. Because one thing for certain and two things for sure, man, you better make sure your garment's clean all the way around the bowl. Because, boy, Yahuwah don't rock like that. Yeah, some people going to be poor. That just is what it is. You know what I'm talking about? And that's for a different reason. See, there's a reason why there's going to be poor on earth. I ain't even got time to talk about that. There's a reason for that. It's a multitude of reasons for that. And not probably for the reasons that many people probably think. Isaiah 27:9. By this, therefore, shall the iniquity of Jacob be purged, and this all the fruit to take away his sin, when he make all the stones of the altar as chalk stones that are beaten in asunder. The groves and images shall not stand up. Yet the defenced city, desolate. The habitation, forsaken. Left like a wilderness, there shall the calf feed, there shall he lie down and consume the branches thereof. When the boughs thereof are withered, they shall be broken off. The women come and set them on fire. For it is a people of no understanding. Therefore he have made them, will not have mercy on them. And he that formed them will show them no favor. Now notice, why is he not showing them no favor? Because these people are worshiping idols. You know what I'm talking about? It shall come to pass in that day, Yahuwah shall beat off from the channel of the river unto the stream of Mizraim, and you shall be gathered one by one, O you sons of Yasharal. And it shall come to pass in that day, the great trumpet shall be blown, and they shall come which were ready to perish in the land of Assyria, and the outcasts in the land of Mizraim shall worship Yahuwah in the Kadash Mount of Jerusalem. Now we mentioned that trump because we already talked about that shout, because he told you that in 1 Thessalonians 4, that Mashiach coming with a shout and the great trump. That's when Moab is going to catch what he is going to catch. Remember, because it said Moab is my washpot. And let's go back and refresh our memories on what he meant when he said Moab was going to be his washpot. You have Rahas and Sir. And what is that? That is a washing, or Rakas and Sir, and that is a washing of this defiled, no good bastard right here, or a thorn and a briar. And see, we didn't get to thorn and briar on Shabbat, and we're going to do it now. See, now it says that this is going to be a washing of a thorn and a briar. Now, I think y'all recall what it means with the text, because remember, he just said that he would cut off her princes, did he not? Hold on, let's read the Amos 2, just in case you done forgotten just that fast. He's going to die with atonement and a shouting with the sound of a trumpet, slay all the princes and cut off the judge from the midst. So now we need to look at this washing of a briar. So we're going to revisit what was it? Just in my brain. We're going to revisit Isaiah chapter 4. Why are we revisiting Isaiah chapter 4? Because all the nations gathered up against Jerusalem. Did it not? Did we not read that in Joel? Do you not read that in Revelation 17, that all these people are going to gather to fight against he that sit upon the throne? Yes, that's what's going to happen. Isaiah 4:4, that's all we desire. I give you verse 3 on the house. But shoot, 2 ain't gonna hurt nobody. In that day shall the branch of Yahuwah be beautiful in esteem for the fruit of the earth, be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Yasharal. So again, what is the fruit of the earth? Can anyone tell me what the fruit of the earth is? Let me make sure y'all remember what that is. What is the fruit of the earth? Muffin, go ahead and put that back in the refrigerator for me. Thank you. Y'all remember what the fruit of the earth is? Oh, y'all taking a minute. I mean, I got to put my hand on. Don't nobody know what the fruit of the earth is. This is some good stuff right here, man. It'd probably be better if I didn't have a headache before I came in here. Yes, sir. Those that resurrect from the dead upon his return. They'll be excellent and they'll be comely. And they have escaped of Yasharal. And what does that mean? That goes back to the point that we talked about on Shabbat also. That all those that are of Yasharal are not of Yasharal. Just because they are your kinsmen do not mean that they are your brethren. You know what I'm saying? Just because they are your kinsmen, because who is your mother, brother, and sister? But he that do the will of Elohim. See, it's a lot of brews you calling brothers, but they not your brother because they don't do the desire of Elohim. They do the desire of their father, which is the wicked one. Because their heart is full of iniquity and dead men's bones and all manner of uncleanliness. You know what I'm talking about? And we don't like it. I've noticed that for these 13 years, man, a lot of brews don't like to check brews, man, at all. They only like to check the brews you don't like. And it's only about doctrines that you don't agree with. It's not about some of the slime ball, cowardly, weak, mangina things that dudes be out here doing. You know what I'm saying? Or stuff that dudes be pushing. Like, would you want your son to be like this? Or do you have to look at some of this stuff these dudes be talking about and be like, boy, would you want to give your daughter to a man like this? Or a man who's teaching other men? Would you want your daughter to be married to a dude like this? As a man, would you say, sure, you can marry my daughter? Absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? Because that's really how you have to frame it. Some of these dudes gonna come up and you might have to give your daughter to one of these dudes, man. You know what I'm saying? Or give your daughter to one of these men's sons. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. You have to go past it. Man, brotherly love is not just co-signing what somebody doing because you know they're a brute. That's not brotherly love, man. That's ineffective leadership and masculinity all the way around the board. That's feminine because you don't want to upset him. You don't want to have the conflict. You don't want to have the disagreement. For what? To allow wickedness and folly to perpetuate and permeate throughout the hearts of multiple generations of men, which is damaging to the body as a whole, and not damaging to the body of Mashiach because God forbid anything such a thing could ever happen. You know what I'm talking about? But it's damaging to the body of people in the community. That's why this man told you to get the evil from amongst you. That's why he tell you to separate yourself. Because he tell you don't get caught up with that because he know what's going to happen. Like the whole advent of saying don't fool with broke people because you're going to be the seventh is nothing but a principle that Yahuwah has laid out in your law. That man told you if there was idolaters, what you were supposed to do. Get that evil from amongst you. If there were adulterers, what were you supposed to do? If there were thieves, what you were supposed to do? You were supposed to separate these people from everybody else because that stuff would permeate. All they would do was seduce and entice others to do the same. You know what I'm saying? That's all that is. That's all that's going to happen. And it's sad that we can't see that. Verse 3, though, it shall come to pass. He that is left in Zion, he that remain in Jerusalem shall be called Kadash, every one that is written among the living in Jerusalem. And when the Lord shall wash away the filth of the daughters of Zion and shall purge the blood of Jerusalem from the midst thereof by the ruach of judgment and by the ruach of burning. Now again, Moab is described to be a washing of briars and thorns. Psalms 21. Now I keep forgetting to tell you, I need to get my hair taken down so I can wash it. Psalms 21:1. And maybe we'll go ahead and lay out Psalms 21 while we're here. Psalm 21 is dealing with the king, the great honor of the king. So I just want y'all to have that in mind as we go through it. The king shall joy in your strength, O Yahuwah, and in your salvation. How greatly shall he rejoice. You have given him his heart's desires and have not withholden the request of his lips, Selah. Now, I need of the people who are on here with us at this present time, can you tell me what were the desires of the heart of the king that were not withholden from him, that he requested? Again, desire, so that you can know, is ta'ava. That is the desire, the wishing, or the longings of one's heart, the thing desired. Sometimes lust, appetite, and covetous in a bad sense, but in this particular instance, it is a longing for, the longing of his heart, the things that the king longed for in his heart. Request in this instance is arasheth. It is a desire. It is a request in the sense of desiring to possess or longing for. Aleph, Rosh, Shan, and Tau. And withholding, just so you know, is manah. Meme, Nun, and Ayin, to withhold, to hold back, to restrain, or to hinder, or to deny. So Yahuwah did not deny the longing of the heart of the king, of the thing that he desired and had a longing for. What were those things that he desired, that he requested with his lips? See, we got to stop there because it's telling you, Selah. You're supposed to pause and consider. Ain't that what you're supposed to do when you see that? You're supposed to pause and consider. Well, shoot, go ahead and pause. Oh, y'all don't have anything. I put my hat back on for you so you can come up with something. That's all you have for me, Muffin? I will allow it because it's Muffin. No, my Muffin. No. You can't go to Psalm 40. You're gonna have to go Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John for this. So they say to request it with his lips. Psalm 40 is a prophecy. That's a vision. I will allow it. I will allow it, young sir. I will allow it. Muffin, if we called the baby new Muffin, would you be offended? Oh, you would. So you'd be old Muffin. Well, if the baby's new Muffin, then by definition you would have to be old Muffin. No, because my Muffin is Big Muffin. You're not a Big Muffin.
Nobody call her Muffin. She is the original. Okay, that's what her name is. Everybody know her as Muffin. You call Kiana Muffin, she look at you crazy. She doesn't condone it. It's just for you.
That doesn't matter. No, she's been Muffin since 1991.
To you. Her mama don't call it.
I ain't got nothing to do with that.
It's my She ain't gonna be a friend. She is beautiful.
She's been working since the first time,
So you're gonna be old muffin.
you're gonna be old and original.
Indeed. Well, if we had a new muffin, you would have to be an old muffin.
A Jill called a cupcake.
Cupcake.
Not her and the baby.
No, we ain't calling my baby no cupcake. That ain't gonna work.
Well, that's for you. You already saw what.
That ain't gonna work. Come over here to John 17. That's what I had in mind, good sir. John 17 is what I had in mind. Because these are the things that he requested with his lips. Then we'll have to ascertain and see, did the Father grant him those desires? And Muffin and Darius did link some of those things that were contained in there. I just would give Muffin a hard time. John chapter 17 and verse 1. These words spake Yahushua, and lift up his eyes to Shamahim and said, Abba, the hour is come, esteem your son, and your son may also esteem you. You have given him power over all flesh, that he should give eternal life, as many as that have given him. So that's why I say just give him Muffin a hard time. He led off with that. So the first thing that he desired to give, the desire of the longing of his heart to give you, was eternal life. That was the desire of his heart. That's what he desired and longed, that was not withholden from him. That wasn't denied him. Remember, he said he gave you power to become the sons of Elohim, not by the will of the flesh, not by the will of man, but by the power of Elohim. You understand? These are the things that he longed for in his heart. See, these are the things that you lift up this banner because of his truth and let that be known. You know what I'm saying? See, we're not letting this stuff be known for a multitude of reasons. And I believe, for me personally, the number one reason is because you care about what other men have to say or think of you, because you feel like there's a particular image that a Hebrew has to uphold. The image that you must uphold is the image of the son of Elohim, whose image you must be conformed into. That's the only image that you should be concerned with upholding. No other image is of any relevance. You know what I'm talking about? Nothing else matters aside of that. Well, I didn't know. Shoot. Sometimes he comment on with his own name. Y'all niggas share pages. And they say he had his Dwight say, I need credit for my answer. Don't give my esteem to another. And we shall not. Verse 3, right? And this is life eternal, that they may know you, the only true Elohim, and Yahushua HaMashiach, whom you have sent. Well, how can you know the only true Elohim to get this eternal life? Well, Yahushua has told you how this is done. And we will look at John chapter 6, verse 44, for that very matter. You can make it 43. What's going on, man? John 6 and 43. Yahushua therefore answered and said unto them, murmur not among yourselves. No man can come unto me except Abba which sent me. Draw him, and I will raise him up at the last day. It is written in the prophets, they shall be all taught of Elohim. Every man therefore that have heard and have learned of Abba, come unto me. So this is the only way that you come back to John 17. That's the only way you're going to have to know the text. You're going to have to believe on this man, as the scripture has said. You're going to have to know the text. If you don't know the only true Elohim, that means you don't know the Father. And if you don't know the Father, you don't know the Son. And if you don't know the Son, you don't have eternal life abiding in you. Do you know what I'm saying? And these dudes can say whatever they want. They can move it however they want. But if you don't know the Father, then you don't know the Son. See, come over here to Matthew 11, just to let the Lord tell you one time for the one time. See, we might get to Moab and the briars, and we might not, because who cares about Moab? We care, but we don't care. We only care because that was the topic of the day. In reality, we don't care what he's going to do to our enemies. We already know these people are going to be destroyed. Of that, we have no concern. No. We was asking little Muff from the Bluff. That's what they say you from? Ain't that's where you from? Oh, or you just Doc McMuffin? Oh, you want to get Doc McPunchin?
No, Doc McStuffin.
Why they ain't stuff your teeth back in your mouth? I ain't seen none.
This one is growing eggs.
Why are you entertaining this? Yeah, you'll get better over time. Matthew 11:25. At that time, Yahushua answered and said, I thank you, O Abba, Lord of Shamahim and Arats, because you have hid these things from the wise and prudent and revealed them unto babes. Even so, Abba, for it seemed good in your sight. All things are delivered unto me and my Abba. No man know the Son but Abba, neither know any man Abba save the Son, and he to whomsoever the Son will reveal. So at the end of the day, well, you can't, man, we talk about a lot of things, man, but at the end of the day, boy, if you don't know the Father, boy, you don't know the Son. And if the Son don't show you the Father, boy, you're going to hell. You know what I'm talking about? And we can make it seem, guess what? You can have all the Hebrew garments on you want. You could change your name to whatever you like. You could speak all the Hebrew you want. But boy, if you ain't did it how this man just said it needed to be done, well, you going to be done. Well done at that. You're going to be in the place you don't want to be. You're going to be in the valley of Hemnon. You're not going to be where you want to be. You're not going to be in Jerusalem worshiping at this man's footstool. You know what I'm saying? And we can sit here and we can make it a game and a joke, but we talking about real life, man. You know what I'm talking about? I thank the Lord I ain't never had the misfortune to see a man take his last breath. You know what I'm saying? And maybe if you done seen somebody take their last breath, you could understand the seriousness of life and death. Maybe if you done seen a man and you see these people give him 25 years or life sentence to this, that, and the third, and you can understand the importance of the consequences of the choices and the decisions that you make. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think a lot of y'all done seen a high level of consequence for bad decision making. You know what I'm talking about? Well, I done seen men get a life sentence, boy. I'm talking about look the man in his eyes, boy, and seen all the hope, strength, and power he had depart from out of his body. When he come to the realization that a decision that he made is going to cause him to be behind a razor wire fence for the rest of his days. You know what I'm talking about? Now you had to sit back and think about that, man. The choices and the decisions you make could cause you be in a lake where the worm dies not and the fire shall not be quenched, and you be separated from Elohim for all of eternity. And for what? And for what? And we seem to make that not important. Because the importance of the matter is not that the person will be tormented for all eternity, but the fact that you will never get an opportunity to have communion with Yahuwah ever. And see, that don't bother Bruce. You know what I'm talking about? I already know that junk hit your soul way different, boy, when you witness somebody take their last breath, man. You know what I'm saying? That's something different, man. To watch somebody's life leave up out of their body. That ain't no ordinary experience. You know what I'm talking about? And prayerfully, the only time anybody had that experience is that somebody on their hospital bed. The last thing you want to see is to have that experience to see somebody in a car accident or some manner of violence. You know what I'm saying? I ain't see Buddy take his last breath, but I definitely seen a dude die on a motorcycle and he was laid out in that street. I say, boy, I know he good as dead, boy. I know it's over for him. I remember that there, boy, because I was on the phone dropping some work off on some dudes at the time, man. Right down beach and whatever the name of it, Cortez, man, that laundromat, boy. That dude died right then. I knew he was dead. But see, I ain't talking about you look from a distance and you see he dead. I'm talking about you look in his eyes as you see the life departing up out of his body. That's a different deal right there, man. Like I say, it's one thing if it's something that happened to somebody based off of old age. It's another thing to see somebody lose their life based off of bad decision making. You know what I'm talking about? You done made a bad choice in life. You done did this, you done did that, and now here come an act of violence, and now you done lost your life. Man, we were just in the car listening to man, this nigga BOA saying something, and that joint had me tripping. He was like, boy, he almost got in a fight with a dude because he was looking him in his eyes when he was talking to him. He said, because this man wasn't raised by men, so he thought that meant that he wanted to fight. Man, I can remember when I was in prison, man, the CO talking about, don't look me in the eyes. And I had to turn and look this crack in his face and tell him, ain't we men, right? We both men, ain't it? But you thought I was going to look away from you? You wanted me to be a woman in this scenario. You wanted to be submissive and for me to look away. Well, if you were going to beat me up, you were just going to have to beat me up. But better believe, boy, I was going to hit you back. Because you wasn't finna sit here and beat on me, but it's the fact of, well, you don't even notice how people try to beat the strength, power, and masculinity right up out of your soul, man. And I'm saying that there because Satan trying to knock the godliness right up out you. He don't want you to look Yahuwah in the eye. He don't want you to look to heaven. He don't want you to do none of that. So then the next time when you lift up your eyes, you separate it from this man. See, most people, they ain't never had communion with Yahuwah, so they don't even know what it's like. That's why you say it's impossible for somebody who done had the Ruach HaKodesh to fall away and depart. Once you done had communion with this man, that's another conversation. Most people ain't never communed with Yahuwah, man. And we not pressing that for people to have communion, which means to be one with him. We ain't talking about communion like drinking the wine. We talking about being a card, being one with him, being joined with him, man. That's a different deal. You got to strive for that, man, because then you'll never be separated from him. There's people walking around here, they separated from this man. And they don't think it's a big deal. And they claim they in the faith. Man, I'm trying to tell you, I ain't trying to do nothing but tell you what the Lord loved, and that's the truth. Come on back over here to John chapter 17, man, and verse 4. I have esteemed you on the earth. I have finished the work which you gave me to do. And now, O Abba, esteemed you with my own self, with the esteem which I had with you before the world was. I have manifested your name unto the men which you gave me out of the world. Thine they were. You gave them me, and they kept your word. Now they have known that all things whatsoever you have given me are of you. I have given unto them the words which you gave me, and they have received, and have known that surely I come out from you, and they have believed that you did send me. I pray for them. I pray not for the world, but for them which you have given me, for they are thine. But let's go and drop on down about verse 17. Sanctify them through your truth. Your word is truth. As you have sent me into the world, even as I also sent them into the world, and for their sakes I sanctify myself, that they also might be sanctified through the truth. Neither I pray for these alone, but for them which also shall believe on me through their word, that they all may be one as you are, Abba, in me, I in you, that they also may be one in us, that the world may believe that you have sent me. And the esteem which you gave me, I have given them, that they may be one, even as we are one. So boom, this is the next thing that he prayed for you to be able to commune with Elohim. Then on top of that, for you to get the esteem of Elohim, which is the Ruach HaKodesh of Elohim. That's what he prayed for you to get. He did not withhold that request from him. You know that on Pentecost, because they sent the Ruach down for men to get it, which allows you to be one with Yahuwah. That's why he said that know you not that he that is joined to the Lord is one Ruach. Because that's what the law was pointing to you when it say you shall depart from your father and mother and join to your wife and be one flesh. You got dudes walking around here talking about they one flesh with their wife. You not one flesh with that woman, boy. That woman didn't come from you, boy. That was pointing you to a greater mystery to come on down the line, man. You got dudes really like you one with a woman when you have sex with her. That's not what the man said. You can have sex with somebody and not be one flesh with them, boy. That's just sex. You become one with them because that woman becomes one with you. See, right before I had came on here, man, we were listening to this lady say, I'm a modern woman. My boyfriend's a traditional man, and I want to hyphenate my name, and I want to be the breadwinner too, and I don't want no gender roles. And as a man, he supposed to got up and left because that woman can't be one with you. You understand? Remember what he said? He called their name Adam. Male and female created he them and called their name Adam. And the whole family in heaven and earth is named after Yahushua HaMashiach. That means you become one. That means you become one with the head of that household. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't no more, that's that woman. That woman absorbing, that's what it means when he say become one flesh. It's one body in the house. Nigga, you talking about soul ties and all this other stuff. That's foolishness, boy. How can your soul be tied to seminal fluid and vaginal secretions? Are we that simple in the brain, man? But y'all know I done told y'all about that, man. You know, I've been explaining. Ain't nothing spiritual about having sex, man. Nothing spiritual about it at all. If you think sex is spiritual because you tapping into dealing with that doggone chakras and all that tantric yoga and all that old other stuff, man, Yahuwah ain't never said nothing about sex was spiritual at any time ever. That's a carnal desire. That's why he say there are men who make themselves eunuchs for the kingdom of heaven's sake. That means that's an individual who will not lend. That doesn't mean that you carnal because you have that desire. It means it's of the flesh. It means it's of the nature. That means it's of man. Yahuwah and the Malachim have no need or desire for physical relations or physical pleasure. This is the stuff that us in the word is supposed to notice and to stop perpetuating such folly. Because when we say sex is spiritual, you saying Yahuwah want to have sex, boy. Indeed, sir. Indeed. You got to realize that, man, Yahuwah don't want to have sex. I just seen a dude talking about the Bible tell us to go get a wife and God don't have a wife. You that simple? Because you trying to make him be a man. This man don't have no desire to have sex with no woman. For what? That's how you know ain't no angels have no sex with no woman. What would a spiritual being have a need and a desire for sex? Are we that perverted in the brain? That's why we want to make sex spiritual. Sex was created for the purpose of reproduction. Yahuwah don't need no penis in the no vagina to reproduce no spiritual creature. You know what I'm saying? And you got people out here teaching people this, man. And people believe it. That's the sad part. That's the sad part. Don't you know a person would have to be immensely more spiritual from refraining from sex than to actually have it? The book teaches you that, man. It tells you that. It shows you that. It takes more spiritual discipline and restraint to refrain from sexual activity than it is to participate. Nowhere in the book do it say your soul is tied to this woman because you've had sex with her. So I guess Abraham was tied to Hagar then. Let the boy tell it. So I guess Jacob was tied to his handmaid. Let the boy tell it. You see how stupid it sounds? You see how stupid it sounds? And we ought to be ashamed for perpetuating it and purporting it to other people as if it means something, trying to sound deep and spiritual. You sound like a jackass. You sound like somebody devoid of any spiritual intelligence and knowledge and discernment. Ain't nothing spiritual. The purpose of having sex is to take your semen, to join it to her egg, to keep the race going. Where you get spirit out of that? Where you get that from? But guess what we gonna do? Repeat it. Don't want to get them soul ties. It's not soul ties. It's dopamine that's been released in your brain where you feel bonded to this person emotionally, namely from the woman. The woman gets a dopamine release. That's why she bonds with this man when she has sex with him. A man don't have that same release. He didn't have the dopamine release. Well, I'm bonded with her. I must be with her for all of my days. That doesn't happen. That's an emotional reaction, and you blame it on spirit instead of saying that I'm emotionally unstable and emotionally immature. I don't know how to manage my feelings. I don't understand them. I don't know how to maintain and discipline them. So I blame it on a soul tie. That's what that is. When you hear somebody say that, you're talking to an immature person. You're talking to a person that does not have any level of maturity whatsoever on the matters of being an adult. John chapter 17, verse 22. And the esteem which you give me, I have given them, that they may be one even as we are, I and them, and you and me, that they may be perfect in one, that the world may know that you have sent me and have loved them as you have loved me. I will that they also whom you've given me may be with me where I am, that they may behold my esteem which you have given me, for you have loved me from the foundation of the world. O righteous Abba, the world have not known you, but I have known you, and these have known that you have sent me, and I have declared unto them your name, and will declare it, and the love wherewith you have loved me may be in them, and I in them. Notice that love will be in you because that word was declared. And because that word was declared, it resides in you. And when you reside in the word resides in you. Therefore, you in Elohim. Therefore, the gift of eternal life is manifested. And the esteem that he had from being the son of Elohim at the beginning is now been given unto all men. Praise the Lord. Come on back to Psalm 21. I say I got to crank it up just a tad. Verse 3, because I'm running out of time. (21 and 3). Is that what it is? 21 and I'll read 21 and 2 again. You have given me him his heart's desire, and have not withholden the request of his lips, Selah. For you prevent him with the blessings of goodness. You set a crown of pure gold upon his head. Now I just want y'all to see what prevent him is. It is kadam. That means to meet, to go before, to confront, to lead, to anticipate. So when he says that he's led or anticipated him with the blessings of goodness, he has anticipated giving him his Ruach HaKodesh, as you kind of see Yahushua leading to in the John 17. Of course, you know the crown of gold on his head. You saw that in Revelation. He asked life of you, and you gave it to him, even length of days forever and ever. We just read, that's what he asked for, right? Eternal life, right? He gave it to him. His esteem is great in your salvation. Honor and majesty have you laid upon him. Because which time, at any time, did he call any of the Malachim sons? He said, for this day, you are my son, I have begotten you. For you have made him most blessed forever. You have made him exceedingly glad with your countenance, that he may have a name above all names, that the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, every knee should bow and every tongue should confess. For the king trusts in Yahuwah, and through the mercy of the Most High, he shall not be moved. Your hand shall find out all your enemies. Your right hand shall find out all those that hate you. Because let's look at the Lord when he said in that regard, Revelation 22 on general principle. Let's let the Lord tell it to you. We could recite it, but I'm going to go ahead and let him tell it to you. 22 and 8. Shoot, you could make it 22 and 6. Ain't going to hurt nobody. Revelation 22 and 6. And he said unto me, these are the sayings are faithful and true. Yahuwah Elohim of the Kadash prophet sent his Malachim unto show his servants the things which must shortly be done. Behold, I come quickly. Baruch is he that keep the sayings of the prophecy of this book. I, John, saw these things and heard. And when I heard and seen, I fell down to worship before the feet of the Malachim, which showed me these things. Then say he unto me, see, for I am your fellow servant, and of your brethren, the prophets, and of them which keep the sayings of this book, worship Elohim. He said unto me, seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. He which is filthy, let him be filthy still. He that is righteous, let him be righteous still. He that is Kadash, let him be Kadash still. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be. Because you already know that. He's going to search the heart. He's going to try the reins. He's going to give you as you've earned. Matter of fact, let's see where that come from. I think that's Jeremiah 17 that I desire. Or one part where it comes from, I should say. Because it's mentioned in another place. You can pick it up at verse 5 of Jeremiah 17 if you wish. Thus saith Yahuwah, cursed be the man that trusts in man, that make flesh his arm, whose heart depart from Yahuwah. Remember when you talking about, remember we read it the other day, right? He said he raised up an arm of salvation to bring salvation unto himself. So when you make flesh your arm, it's stating that this is your place of defense. That's what you're seeking for salvation. That's what individuals are going to do with the beast. They're going to seek him for salvation. That's why they will be cursed. For he shall be like the heath in the desert, and shall not see when good come, but shall inhabit parched places in the wilderness, and a salt land not inhabited. And what are those parched places? The valley of Hinnom. Baruch is the man that trusts in Yahuwah, who hope Yahuwah is. But he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, and spread out her roots by the river, and shall not see when heat come, but her leaves shall be green, and shall not be careful in the year of drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit. A tree alive, which is what Yahushua said he would give you if you overcame, which is what the blessing in the garden was. A man who, you know what I'm saying? A man who trusts in Yahuwah is going to be akin to the tree of life. Because look what it said, she'll never cease from yielding fruit. Well, why won't you cease from yielding fruit? That means you have continual production. Which goes back to that fig tree when he cursed, but go back to the point that we started with, that as a man, we're supposed to have continual production. Man, I told my dog that earlier, man. And I didn't tell him that because this dude said that, which is the truth. As a man, all you got to do is progress. You don't want to get stagnant and you don't want to regress. You want to progress. And it don't matter if you moved an inch, you was an inch further than what you were the day before. See, most of us, you get the mind of a woman and you feel like you got to have immediate success. It's got to come overnight. See, little children and women want instant gratification. As a man, you know everything is a process and it takes time. But you know, I just got to keep moving forward. If I moved an inch today, a foot tomorrow, 10 feet, 1 mile, it don't make no difference. Each day, I'm just getting closer and closer and closer. See, that go back to the point that I mentioned. If there's a woman who with you and she willing to ride and she see that you progressing, she gonna ride with you. But you can't stay still and you can't go backwards. Because that woman gonna want to get off. She gonna want to get out. Let me out, though. That's what she gonna want to do. Let me out, though. You know what I'm saying? And they looking at me, let me out, though. She don't want to ride no more. Because at the end of the day, how Yahuwah made it, the woman is contingent to be dependent. And it's something here that I know too. That nigga said it this earth. That nigga B.O.A. said this the other day. And I know this because I done seen it. And I seen the chick I went to school with post the same type of junk. Dudes be like, these women won't submit. No, she won't submit to you because she know you a buster. Because see, you ain't going to tell her what to do. You going to ask her what she want to do. So you ain't going to come through and dominate. I don't care how much education she got. I don't care how much money she got. If you coming in and your nuts hanging and you firm and confident in who you is as a man, well, that woman is naturally going to yield to your masculine authority and ability. She going to naturally do it. The only women who don't do it are women who are certified demons. And when I say demons, not that she's filled with demons, but that she's complete adversarial to anything that is just and upright. You have some people, they just evil and ain't nothing you can do with them. But I just want you to pay attention to the fact when you see a lot of dudes talking about these women won't submit, look at the type of dude he is. I guarantee you he sit down and pee when he go to the bathroom. Some of these dudes wear their boxers with the flat on backwards. You know what I'm talking about? I'm trying to tell you, man. These dudes be sitting talking about what a woman won't do. Well, what type of man you is that you worry about what a woman? Well, clearly that ain't the woman for you. Because you see what Yahuwah do. Yahuwah said you could dip then. You see what they had to do, what her name was? With Vashti. Them boys had to come tell the king, you bugging, boy. Well, you better send her home, boy. Well, you better not entertain that. He said, you know what? You right. See, he had a moment of mangina and slipped up in him. He almost simped out till they told him, nah, boy, then you're going to call the rest of these women to act like this here. These boys going to start coming off the top rope with elbow drops, macho man style. Well, you got to do something about this. Because this ain't right. But let me tell you something, man. Do you know how evil them people were, boy? Yahusha, the most masculine man you ever meet in your life, boy. And them people ain't want to submit to him. So what did that mean that these people were? They were evil. They was evil. Because it was some people, come on, man, a Roman centurion submitted to the man, never had a conversation with him. You know what I'm saying? Never had a conversation with him. He said, hold up. I'm a man under authority. You ain't got to do nothing but speak the word. That's submission. This man has already yielded to this man's authority. What about Peter? Peter done fishing. This man say, come with me. They left. They left. That's yielding to his authority. All he had to do was come through. Oh, that's the one. That's a man right there. I'm going where he going. I'm doing what he doing. Whatever he say, that's what I'm doing. It's a presence of how you conduct yourself, who you is as a man. Most of these dudes, I mean, most dudes ain't worthy of submission. You're not a man, so why they gonna submit to you? But Psalms 18 say, boy, they submitted to me as soon as they heard of me. You know what I'm talking about? But that's another conversation. Let me finish this Jeremiah 17 and 9. The heart is deceitful above all, desperately wicked. Who can know it? I, Yahuwah, search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways, according to the fruit of his doing. See, that man gonna size you up. He gonna try you out. Let me test you. Let me see what you got going on. Let me see what's in there, man. It always gets shown. Back to Psalm 21, man. That's what he mean when he say his right hand gonna find out those that hate him. He gonna search you out. Let me see if you hate me or not. Yeah, you do. Verse 9, you shall make them as a fiery oven in the time of your anger. Yahuwah shall swallow them up in his wrath, and the fire shall devour them. Their fruit shall you destroy from the earth, and their seed from among the sons of Adam. For they have attended evil against you. They have imagined a mischievous device which they are not able. What is that? That they went to go to make war with the Lamb. Therefore you shall make them turn their back, when you shall make them ready upon your strings against the face of them. Be exalted, Yahuwah, in your own strength. We will sing and praise your power. Now come over here to Hebrews. And let's look at this, Hebrews 6. Let's look at these thorns and briars that are nigh to be rejected and near under cursing. Because that's what Moab is. When he talking about he's a washpot, he going to wash him in that fire. That's what we came to read that for, that fiery oven. I pick it up at verse 1 just on the house. I'm going to get ready to let y'all up out of here, man. We 18 minutes to our max out time. We ain't got to nowhere near what we should have got to, but let Yahuwah be esteemed nonetheless. Therefore, leaving the principles of the doctrine of Mashiach, let us go into perfection, not laying again the foundation of repentance from dead works and faith towards Elohim, of the doctrine of emergence, of the laying on in hands and the resurrection of the dead and of eternal judgment. And this we will do if Elohim permit. For it is impossible for those who were once enlightened to have tasted of the heavenly gift and were made partakers of the Ruach HaKodesh and have tasted the good word of Elohim and the powers of the world to come. If they shall fall away, to renew them again unto repentance, seeing they crucify themselves to the Son of Elohim afresh and put to an open shame. For the earth which drink in the rain that come oft upon it and bring forth herbs meet for them by whom it is dressed, receive blessing from Elohim. But that which bear thorns and briars is rejected and near unto cursing, whose end is to be burned. But beloved, we are persuaded better things of you, and the things accompany the salvation, though we thus speak. See, that's the end for Moab. She is to be burned. And is that what you've seen in Amos chapter 2? She will be burned. She shall be rejected. You don't want to be a briar and a thorn. See, briars and thorns serve two purposes. They serve purposes to be a thorn in the side of those so they can stay obedient to Yahuwah, as you've seen in Judges, and Paul wrote in one of his letters. But those same briars and thorns are going to be rejected, and they shall be burned. And you don't want that. Who wants that? That ain't what you want. You know what I'm talking about? But we got some more stuff to spin off of Moab, because we're going to have to get the transition to something else. I think we about to part 9 on this particular matter. So that means we only got one more to go. And I know we talked about Edom. We talked about the Philistines a little bit. We kind of wrap that up. And then we'll move on, because we at least want to establish the completion with Babylon in Jeremiah 50 and 51. And then, of course, that will cause us to be complete of everything that has to do with the 14 generations from David to Babylon. And then from Babylon, we get to the arrival of Mashiach. And then, of course, which we've already pretty much touched in the midst of all that. It's hard not to do that. You know what I'm talking about? But I definitely do want to, Yahuwah willing, get to the point of discussing what I mentioned that we were talking about Sunday, man. And that is showing you how Yahushua made his wife's life easier, that she is benefiting off of him, but she must give him something in return. See that, and that's what again get twisted at. Then on top of that, what's the other matter? Showing that what type of man Yahushua is to get the submission that he gets. You know what I'm saying? Like, this stuff don't be hard. When you sit back and you see what type of man he is, you see why he now I will say this here, and this ain't really got nothing to do with no word. It's easy to get a woman to submit to you if she likes you. Most dudes don't get submission from women because that woman don't like you. You know what I'm saying? She deals with you because it's beneficial for her to do so, but she just genuinely does not like you. You know what I'm talking about? And hey, man, you know, that's a whole nother conversation. But hallelujah for Yahushua in the word, man. I appreciate y'all time this evening. Bless you out the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua. Yahuwah willing. We'll pick this up on the Shabbat. Yahuwah willing also, I have them feast days for you, man. It's been a strong month, day in and day out on what we got going on. So we got to be able to carve that out. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just weigh and consider, man. But also just keep that in account. You know, go back over there and look at that in regards to the king getting the desires of his heart. And then ask yourself, are the things that Yahushua desired that his father didn't withhold from him? Do you desire those same things also? It's questions to ask yourself. You know what I'm talking about? It's just something to ask yourself. Because it allow yourself to see, can you be congruent with Elohim? But again, blessings out the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua, man. Yahuwah willing, man. We pick this up, make it do what it do. Until that time.